begin with the collapse of the Cabagan-Santa Maria Bridge in Isabela, a disaster that injured 6 people and will now cost more taxpayers' money to rebuild. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. saw for himself the destruction and blamed the bridge's flawed design.
Ang ending nito, ang punot-dulo nito, design flaw. It is a design flaw. Mali yung design. Ito lang ang suspension bridge na nakita ko sa buong mundo na hindi kable. At yan na mismo ang bumigay. Ayan, oh.
The cables the president was referring to are the bridge's support cables. Though in an earlier interview, DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan said that while the bridge design did have cables, solid steel and not cable strands were used. Cable strands are mainly used for suspension bridges. The president also said that the original budget for the bridge construction was cut. From 1.8 billion pesos, it was cut to less than 1 billion in order to save.
Ang history kasi nito, dapat ang funding nito was supposed to be, ang project cost nito is 1.8 billion. So binawasan to under 1 billion para makamura. Ayan, inayos ngayon, ginawa ngayon yung detailed design. Design is really weak.
The Cabagan-Santa Maria Bridge project started in 2014 and it was completed in 2018. But the bridge was not immediately open to the public due to design adjustments. In 2022, the bridge had to be retrofitted to comply with the DPWH's new design code. It was finally opened last February 1, but only to light vehicles. On February 27, 3 trucks reportedly used the bridge before it collapsed. An investigation into this incident is still ongoing.
A lot of questions after this bridge's partial collapse, and we're hoping our guest could give us the answers. And joining us tonight on the phone is DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan. Good evening, Secretary. Welcome to The Big Story.
Good evening po. Good evening, everybody. Good evening po sa our listeners. Yes, po.
Secretary Bonoan, nagsalita na po ang Pangulo, but who can you identify as behind this design flaw?
Well, one area is actually on the design which the President actually noted. Actually kasi may mga, the way the part of the bridge collapsed, something may noticeable na parang it might have been sa poor design or sa lack of design. And the other thing is actually because nagkaroon bigla ng na-stress yung bridge because of the passage of 2 heavy trucks weighing 100 tons each. No?
Opo. The question is, Secretary, who is behind this design flaw? Sino po yung design? I understand it's a local construction company?
Local consulting firm.
Sino
It's a
po
local
yun?
consulting firm.
Right. Do we have the name?
Well, it's a consortium of 3 consulting firms. 3 consulting firms. And this was designed way back in 2012, 2013.
But under the direction of the DPWH, the DPWH signed off on the design by this consortium.
No, they were engaged by the department at that time. They were engaged by the department to do a detailed engineering design of the bridge.
Still, the question is, did you not discover this design flaw before allowing, heavy vehicles to pass on the bridge?
Well, the history of that bridge actually, as we have discovered, is actually sometime during the construction of the bridge by the contractor. I think the contractor noticed something wrong in the way it's going to be constructed. May nga notice that nagtitil yata some of the parts. So he called the attention of the consultant and the DPWH as well. So this is the reason why I think at some point in time the department has to engage another consultant to see if there is a need to retrofit or adjust the design. And
In the end, Secretary, accountability has to be pinpointed. And who now will, because you're the head of DPWH, who should it be?
Yes.
Kayo po ba as head of DPWH will accept, I mean, the buck stops with you.
Yes, but we are actually undertaking the design because the whole construction and the design of the bridge was undertaken long before we entered into this administration.
But how does that work, right? So it calls to question so many things about processes on, hiring these consultants. Like, who will double check the consultant? Because we here, we think it's the DPWH secretary, right? And when it comes to one of the right, go on.
The selection of the consultants were done way back, not under this administration.
Yes, but for example,
Not
you
under this
inherited.
administration.
Right, so it was already pointed out that the
Yes,
three
ma'am.
administrations had upper hand in this bridge, albeit
Yes,
na
okay.
90% of it was during the previous administration. But it doesn't, I think, it does not exonerate any of the others, because how do you pass on, for example, to the next administration? How is the turnover? Do you not make a check? For example, Secretary, binuksan yung bridge noong Feb 1. So it's been under the Marcos administration since 2022, July.
Yes po.
Oo,
Let me
na-chine-check
clarify
nyo
a
ba
little
ulit?
bit po.
Oh, sige lang. Sige
Let
lang
me
po.
clarify a little bit po. Because this bridge has not been turned over to the department or to the government at this point in time, no? It is under still the responsibility of the contractor. No, we were supposed actually to do the confirmatory test and loading test before we would have accepted that bridge.
So hindi pa
No,
siya
because we
na-turn
just,
over?
I mean, this bridge was just open temporarily for light traffic by the contractor.
Hindi
For
ho
light
ba,
traffic only.
o yun na nga eh, hindi ho ba sana pinigilan ng DPWH dahil hindi pa nata-turn over sa inyo?
Well, I think, in fairness to the contractor, there were signages at the two ends of the bridge na may mga advisories that only light vehicles are allowed and trucks are not allowed. Unfortunately, yung mga loaded trucks we continue to pass by po.
So do you think that's one thing that we can work on now that we know na nagyari nga to, meron talagang hindi nagpa-follow kahit gaano kalaki pa yung signage sa mga bukana ng bridge?
Yeah.
Do you think, Secretary, moving forward, pwedeng turn over muna bago tapos testing muna bago buksan kahit to pedestrian man lang or motorsiklo, kasi yun yung sinasabi nila, matagal na raw dumadaan dyan yung mga pedestrian tsaka yung mga motorcycles?
Yeah, because they did not allow actually motor vehicles to pass by because it was being retrofitted muna. So it was retrofit pa muna until the end of 2024. So,
Pwede mo nating, Secretary, may we go back to, the President mentioned that the budget allocated for this was supposed to be 1.8 billion but reduced to 1 billion dahil nagtitipid. Kailan po yung decision na ito na isagawa, yung pagbawas ng budget? Have you been able to look into that?
Yeah, before the detailed engineering design was made, before the project was initiated, which we covered.
So
what we understand
what
is that
year and under who was the DPWH secretary? Who were the authorized officials then?
No, well, going back to the records, I think the secretary at that time was Secretary Singson yata po, or Or anyway, I think what we uncovered is that this bridge project was supposed to be included in the official development assistance from the Japanese government. And it's supposed to be done with financial assistance from the Japanese government, but it was pulled out. Ayan yung 1.8 billion that sinasabi is actually supposed to be the cost under the official development assistance of the Japanese government. So, but then there was a decision yata that somebody said that it can be built by less than 1 billion. So there was a decision of government at that time na we will local funding na lang. So it went through local funds po.
You are referring to DPWH Secretary Singson during President Aquino's term.
Sorry, I am not very sure of that when the decision was made po.
Okay, well, let's talk about the retrofitting that happened in 2022. I'm not sure exactly when in 2022 because that's about the time we changed administration, Secretary. Nung ni-retrofit, ano yung finding, no, that necessitated?
Let me again. Yes, let me correct that again po. We assumed under this administration that in July of 2022. The decision for retrofitting was made in 2021, but it was only implemented in 2022.
Okay, and what necessitated the retrofitting? Was it, poor supports?
Because there were observations that seems to have that must be corrected. Dun sa bridge in itself during the construction.
Well, Secretary, this unfortunate incident resulted in many injuries. Isa na po doon ay isang 8-year-old na bata who even sustained fractures. What kind of assistance will the DPWH be giving to these victims of the collapse?
Well, we are very thankful that the governor of Isabela has taken care of by the injured motorist po.
And very quickly na lang, Secretary, before we let you go, when can we expect a comprehensive report about this incident, kung ano nagyari, para hindi na siya maulit? I think that's the main goal naman of everyone here.
Well, we will have our technical report by siguro technical report as the President said that we let's expedite the technical investigations at this point in time, for the purpose of making sure that we can expedite also how we can reconstruct the bridge. While we are doing that, I think tinignan din natin yung mga responsible persons or anything. Kasi we were also thinking the responsibility of the truck drivers and the owners of trucks. So if just pass by with overloaded.
Kailan po? I-expedite ninyo kailan po? Kailan po natin aasahan? May petsa po ba?
By next week po.
Monday?
By next week po.
Tuesday? Wednesday?
No. At the end of the week po siguro.
Ganong katagal po?
Yes po. Because we want we need to see if yung kwan po ng yung if the other spans have been compromised as well.
All right. So we thank you for that, and we do hope you will be able to pinpoint culpability.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was DPWH Secretary Bonoan.